Hi everyone, welcome to episode 1 of What's the Tea with Dan and Adam. And here's a little story about us. Me and Adam met in 2013. We went to the same school, and a year later, we got engaged. Fast forward, a few years later, we got married. We live in New Jersey.
And we're fathers to our French Bulldog, Callie.
We feel that we did pretty good with her, so why not take it to the next level? And that's where this vlog comes in. We want to take you on our journey to becoming parents. So the first thing I want to talk about is a little bit about how me and Adam started dating. We actually went to the same college. It is formerly known as Richard Stockton College of New Jersey, now Stockton University. We started dating and we kind of rushed through things a lot quicker than most couples do. We quickly moved into an apartment together. I'm going to say a year later we were engaged, and then we got married and moved in together, and now we're at this point in time where we want to start a family. And it's a lot harder than it would be being a heterosexual couple, just because we run into different obstacles that we have to address. So we first started the process in August of 2018. I remember Adam was looking up different agencies to work with. Basically, we needed to find a fertility clinic and a surrogacy agency that would match us up with someone who would be willing to carry twins. Our goal in the end is to hopefully, fingers crossed, have twins. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But we wanted to have 2 kids, each one of them having genetics from our own, and then sharing the egg donor. So in 2018, I remember being at the beach and getting a phone call from Adam saying that he had a phone conversation that we needed to have with an agency called the Surrogacy Experience, which currently is the agency we are working with, and we love it. That was in 2018, and we started being number 26 on the list. So the way it worked was, if you were number 26, you had 25 people above you to say that you're matched with a surrogate. So starting at 26, we knew that nothing was going to come that quick, and they did tell us that it would be about a year, and currently the whole process is taking over a year and a half. I'm going to say that we probably won't be pregnant until about 2 years. So again, we started this in 2018, and it is currently 2020. After waiting months and basically a year to find out when we would be number 1, we finally matched up with our surrogate in December of 2019. It was so exciting. We had so many experiences before this where they told us that we were matched up, and then it ended up being a person who didn't want to carry 2, so we had to go back onto the waiting list, and we finally matched up with our surrogate, and we love her already. We can't wait to meet her in person, but she is willing to carry 2. She has kids of her own, so it's going to be a really, really fun journey. So hopefully, fingers crossed, everything works out and we get to move on from this process. Once we matched up, we wanted to figure out why it took us so long to match with a surrogate, because originally we were number 26 and they told us it would be under a year in which we were matched with a surrogate. And they did tell us that since we were a same-sex couple and that we wanted to basically try to have 2 kids, it made it a little bit harder to find a surrogate that would want that. I guess there are a lot of people who don't want to carry twins, or don't want to work with the same-sex couple. Basically, that's what they told us. So that's why it took us a little bit longer than expected to match with our surrogate. Once we matched up with our surrogate, we needed to find a fertility clinic that was going to work with using 2 embryos. So a lot of fertility clinics right now only suggest doing 1 embryo transfer. That means that there's only 1 possibility of having 1 child. So our dreams of having twins would not have worked out if we didn't find a fertility clinic that offered a double embryo transfer. So fortunately, Adam did all of his research and he found RMA of Connecticut, which we're currently working with, and our doctor was comfortable with transferring 2 embryos. He did talk to us about the side effects and how it's not 100% guaranteed that we would have twins, but he was willing to give it a shot. He had experience with it, so we felt good and we matched up with RMA of Connecticut. So in December of 2019, we matched up with our surrogate and we found our fertility clinic, and next up was to do genetic testing. So genetic testing basically lets us know if we are carriers of any diseases that we don't want to pass on to our children. Things like CF, in my case diabetes, heart failure, things like that. It's just a better way to look into the future of your children by doing the genetic testing. And this did cost a little bit of money. But there was two things that we had to do. The first thing we had to do was basically do some business into a cup to analyze our semen, and they told us the results and everything was fine there. I was cleared of everything. Adam was a carrier of something, but it was very uncommon, so it wasn't something that we had to worry about. And then after we did that, we needed to do a saliva test. And the saliva test basically was us spitting into this little tube, shaking it up, and then shipping it off. So once we got our saliva tests and genetics back, we were able to start looking for research on an egg donor. Personally, to me, the hardest part of this whole process was choosing an egg donor. We currently still do not have an egg donor sealed in place, but the process of going through websites and looking at profiles, looking at baby pictures of the egg donor, it's really frustrating because you're thinking you're paying so much money for these eggs, thousands of dollars, you're willing to pay for them to travel, and basically you're on a dating website and you're trying to find the mother of your child. And not for nothing, I was very picky with this. If you don't know me, I am very picky with little tiny things. So if I saw an imperfection on something, or I saw something that happened to her when she was younger, or a family history of any type of cancer, I kind of X them out right away. Look-wise, I'm horrible, and for those of you that know me, you know I'm obsessed with Carrie Underwood. I have her signature tattooed on my arm, just to show how much in love I am with her. If I were straight, I would marry her, I would let her have my babies, and that's a whole nother topic. But one thing that I found was every time I looked for egg donors, I looked for people that looked like Carrie Underwood. I looked for the same features. I looked for the blonde hair. I looked for the shape of her face. And I realized that it's harder than it is to pick an egg donor. Egg donor is basically going to have all the genetics of that person carried into your own kids. So to me, it was very difficult. My family members told me I was too picky. They told me I need to lower my standards. But to me, this was our child. And if I were a straight guy, I'm sure I would fall in love with someone that had resemblances of Carrie Underwood. Not for nothing, but the egg donor process was very long for me because Adam didn't really want to do anything with it. He told me that he'll take care of the background stuff, he'll deal with the lawyers, he'll deal with all the paperwork, but he knows that I'm so picky and he thinks that anything I chose, he would be totally okay with, so this was all on me. So currently we are in quarantine for the coronavirus. It's horrible because it's delaying our whole process. Basically, no one is working, everyone's staying at home, so this is why I'm able to start this vlog, because usually I don't have time to sit here and do this and tell everyone this story, but I figured it would be something smart and easy for me to do rather than texting people, calling people. You can just click play and you can watch the video and learn a little bit more about us if you don't know us already, and hopefully follow our journey on becoming parents. So this quarantine kind of set everything back. Everything has been on a standstill. Our surrogate cannot go meet the doctor at the fertility clinic, so unfortunately we had to Zoom our doctor the other day, and a lot of things that he asked us we were able to give him answers to. The one thing he brought up was the egg donor, and he asked if we found one. I told him how it was harder than we thought it was going to be, and I showed him one egg donor that he wanted to look at, and unfortunately he said we cannot use this person, and it kind of broke me down. I felt like my whole month of research was for nothing because we couldn't really use this egg donor. And the reason why was because she did not produce enough eggs the last cycle that she donated. So basically when they go in to collect the eggs from the egg donor, they count how many are going to be used, and let's say they start at 15. So if they pull out 15 and you split them, first of all, it would be uneven for me and Adam. One of us would need 7, one of us would need 8. And then how do you pick who gets the extra one? So let's say I had 8. Let's say I was given 8, and then they get fertilized, they get tested, and there might be some genetic diseases that are found in some of the embryos. So then that number 8 knocks down to maybe a 4. With 4 eggs left, I have a slim chance of getting what I want. So if, let's say I wanted a girl and they tested all the embryos and only one of them was a girl, then I have to work with that one embryo. If that embryo is not strong, they are going to suggest not putting that into our surrogate. So it kind of stinks. But they want someone that is able to produce more than 20 eggs at a time. So basically the egg donor that I did find, unfortunately, was unable to produce 20 eggs the last 2 times that she donated. So we needed to work on finding someone else. After hours and hours and hours of more research, more Zoom meetings with my friends and family, we finally narrowed it down to 2 more egg donors that I really, truly fell in love with. We did some background research. We did some digging to find pictures of this person, these 2 people actually, and we sent over the pictures and the profiles and the previous egg donations to our doctor, and fingers crossed that we will be able to pick from one of those 2 egg donors and then move this process along. So right now, because of quarantine, we can't really do anything else. We are scheduled to go and meet with our doctor and our surrogate, hopefully sometime in May, and then we'll see what happens from there. Thank you for listening. I hope you got something out of this. I know it's a lot of details to take in on the first video, but what we wanted to do was we wanted to share our experience. It's hard. It's going to cost us a lot of money. There's going to be a lot of things that we don't have answers to, but as we go along, as the months, days go by, we want you guys to be a part of it, and hopefully you enjoy this journey. Thanks for tuning in to episode 1 of What's the Tea with Adam and Dan. We hope we filled your cup and you have a lot of tea to sip on. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. See you soon. Bye.